Hi, I'm Willie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And what we're going to talk about in this video is the possible TP-Link ban that is coming from the United States federal government. So if you haven't heard, the federal government has launched an investigation into TP-Link. They're worried about Chinese ownership of the product. There's a lot of political things going into this. I can't even pretend to 100% understand everything because we don't see the people behind the curtain, right, that are pulling the strings on this. But let's look at a couple articles real quick, and then I'll give you a couple more thoughts, and then we'll look at for some alternative products. So I want to go into this saying that TP-Link actually owns about 60 to, it's been estimated as high as 80% of the home router market. So that's a lot of homes, right? So this is kind of a big deal. Now, obviously, I don't think the government can force you to swap out your router, but if what they're investigating, if there's anything to it, and then you feel the need to swap out, you're going to need to look at some alternatives, right? So let's take a look at the stories real quick. The first one is from Malwarebytes Lab, and I love Malwarebytes. You see me talk about Malwarebytes. I live Malwarebytes every day. And here is their story that was published on the 19th. And it talks about the probe into TP-Link. Now, TP-Link Technologies, they are a Chinese company. TP-Link here in the States is trying to distance themselves, and they are in Irvine, California. I've reached out to my TP-Link rep because I have a pile of TP-Link gear back here because I don't know how far the potential of this ban is going to go. I do know that there are some places that are already getting rid of their TP-Link routers, switches, APs, besides the home stuff, right? And we saw this when the government banned Kaspersky. So there's going to be a lot of, I'm sure, updates on this. Excuse me. And right here, it says in this article, TP-Link managed to grow their market share to 60% of the U.S. retail market for Wi-Fi systems and SOHO routers from 10% in 2019. And they're talking about predatory pricing as one of the ways that was accomplished. And it says the company recently reported it almost has 80% of the U.S. retail market for Wi-Fi mesh systems. They're one of the ones that is pushing that, you know. The standard wasn't even ratified, and TP-Link's throwing out all these routers and stuff like that. A lot of marketing behind it in places like Costco and Best Buy, Sam's Club, things like that. But because of TP-Link's original founding in China, claims have been made of a so-called Huawei playbook, referring to allegations that Huawei technology spies for the Chinese government, and that it became a dominant player in the global networking equipment sector on the back of improper state subsidies. Huawei and China both deny these allegations, though. So this has been ongoing for a while. If you remember, we did a video on the government banning Dahua and Hikvision. So you can still get those products, but they cannot be used in federal installations. If you're a federal contractor, you're getting federal funds, you can't have those systems. I don't know how this is particularly going to play out, but we should be prepared for all of the possibilities, whether that's doing nothing or replacing gear. I know people are currently replacing gear, and I'm not adverse to that, right? It's better to be prepared and do it now than if everybody starts doing it and then the, you know, these companies can raise their prices because of supply and demand and things like that. I will post a link to this down below because then this talks about router vulnerabilities, and as we've seen in the past, it's not just TP-Link, it's Netgear, Cisco, edge routers. There's been a lot of routers that have been compromised because a lot of people use the default credentials. That's one of the big problems. And California actually has a law in the books that says manufacturers have to have random passwords and can't use those default credentials. It works out pretty well. Sometimes it's a pain in the butt when you're trying to grab a device and figure the password out, but I think overall that's actually a really good practice. So this government technology, GovTech.com, they go over this as well. And right here they tell you that TP-Link has been subpoenaed by the Commerce Department. So there's going to be investigations and things like that. I'll leave these down here so you can read into this a little bit. I was trying to find an actual link out to the Commerce Department or out to Congress, because I know Congress has funded this now, so they have the funding to do this, but I couldn't find an exact page. So if somebody has that, you can message me, you can go over to our community and you can paste the link over there. You can email me, send me the link, and I'll update this, because I'm sure there's going to be another video about this. So everything that they're talking about in these articles, every article that I have read talks about SOHO routers. And it depends who you talk to what the definition of SOHO is. But if we're going off of what this is, it could just be the cheap routers for 40, 60, 80, $100, the Wi-Fi Mesh 7, or they could target even the small business, which when I think SOHO, I think some of the business routers that TP-Link has are good for SOHO. So we'll have to see exactly what gets caught up in this. Like I said, I will post a link to this. If anybody else has better information about this than what I'm finding, please let me know. So you've read the articles, you've decided you want to look at something else. If this is for your home and you're not into a full-blown stack like sometimes we deal with here, right, with separate routers, separate switches, separate firewalls, and you want one of these all-in-one type devices, what is your alternative? I'm going to give you 3 alternatives real quick, and I'll leave Amazon affiliate links to them down below. Shameless plug there. But this is going to be talked about for a while. And with the new administration coming in, I have absolutely no idea what is going to happen. I think everybody's better off to just buckle in and get ready for the roller coaster ride. So these are 3 systems you can look at if you've got one of these all-in-one units. These are 3 that you can pretty much drop in and replace it. If you need to do some mesh, you can do it with these as well. So the first one we're going to look at is the Grandstream GWN7062, and you can pick this up for like $100 or less, and it is Wi-Fi 6, and it provides VPN, it provides granular firewall rules and things like that. Supports 256 concurrent Wi-Fi devices. Also supports not only 5 gigahertz but 2.4 gigahertz. So I'll leave a link to this down below. This is a great router. The next one you can look at is the Synology WRX560, which is also Wi-Fi 6 and does mesh. And if you've been around the channel for a while, you know that Synology routers hold a special place in my heart, because the software on them, no one is doing it better for home users or parents looking to, have some content filtering. I still believe that SRM, dollar for dollar, penny for penny, is the best content filtering, traffic management solution that is out there that is affordable. So you could look at the WRX560. I'm going to do a video on that router. You can look at the AmpliFi line by Ubiquiti. Now, I did reach out to a few of the companies, because, not all of this stuff from any of the companies is necessarily assembled and made in the United States. There's one company that I don't have listed here because you can't buy it on Amazon. You have to find an actual reseller. But that is the Island router. If you haven't seen this, looks like maybe a vent in a room. But this thing is super powerful as well. It's a little bit more expensive than everything else that we're looking at. So real quick, back to the AmpliFi. They have several versions of AmpliFi, of course. This is the AmpliFi Alien. These things are beasts. They are a little bit expensive, but any of these, whether it's the standard uh, AmpliFi, the AmpliFi Instant, the AmpliFi Gamers Edition, or the Alien, whether it's the WRX560, whether it's the Grandstream GWN7062, you're going to be able to drop that in. Now, the difference with the Island is the Island doesn't do Wi-Fi. Island wants to be a router only, so you would have to have access points for this. But these other three systems that we're talking about, you can pretty much drop them in and replace if you're using TP-Link at home. So real quick, I want to let you know, when I reached out to Grandstream, I reached out to Synology, I reached out to Ubiquiti. Not everybody got back to me. If you look at your hardware, you'll notice the stickers of where these things are manufactured. And even though something might be manufactured in China, that's not what the root of this problem is. The root of the problem with the politics is that are the companies owned by the Chinese government? Are the chips and things that are going into the devices, are they owned by Chinese government-owned companies? That's really what I should have said. Does the Chinese government own these companies? That's really where the politics, the political problems come into this. And it is a political spider's web unlike anything that we can even imagine, right? But I did reach out. I did hear back from Grandstream, and the official response I got from Grandstream was about 5 years ago, all of the products coming out of China adhere to NDAA Section 889 compliance. This means our products are made without consisting of parts from or manufactured by a Huawei company, ZTE Corporation, Hytera Communications Corporation, Hikvision, or Dahua Company. As a result of this compliance, they have zero concerns about their products being targeted similarly. And they also said, additionally, unlike TP-Link, we are a U.S. company, right? So that is back to that Chinese ownership, back to who's making the parts. So Grandstream clearly said nothing we use is made by these companies. The official response that I got back from Synology is that Synology is a Taiwanese company. All NAS devices are manufactured in Taiwan, as well as their surveillance cameras, which are NDAA compliant. So they got back to me, and so rest assured that that is their official stance. They gave me permission to tell you that in this video. So I think you could feel good about those. Now, of course, nothing is ever guaranteed, right? But I feel good saying that, yeah, we can replace this stuff if it gets targeted, gets banned. You wouldn't have any problem with any of these three companies just dropping it in and go. If you know more about this situation than I do, let us know down in the comments. Head on over to community.willyhow.com, open up a thread about this. We did have some people just in the last week or so that started a thread talking about, okay, I'm going to buy, I'm looking at Omada, I'm looking at Grandstream, I'm looking at Ubiquiti, and gave us the parts list and asked what everybody thought. Well, that thread started right before the news came out that the government is investigating TP-Link. So it'll be interesting to see. So if you know more about this, if you have better links than what I've got to this information, head on over to the community and post them in the community. If you can get it to me down below in the comments, leave it down there. Or if you have my email address, or you can go to my website and reach out on the contact form, because I think this is going to evolve quickly. I don't think it's just going to go away. I think it's something that we need to pay attention to, and we should be prepared to act accordingly. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, share, follow me on Twitter and TikTok. Those links are down below, along with affiliate links, Patreon link. And if you need IT consulting, if you need to redo your Soho, your SMB network, or your home network because you want to swap out manufacturers, or you're looking to beef up security, or you want to add a NAS or voice over IP or all those things, head on over to williehow.com, fill out the contact form, and someone will be in touch with you as soon as possible. Head on over to community.williehow.com and let's start a conversation about this. Once again, I'm Willie. I want to thank you for being here, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.